Our top story, one person is in custody, a second suspect on the run still tonight following a shooting near Windsor Forest High School. WSAV has confirmed that a man was seriously hurt. WSAV's Isabella Baez was on the scene and shares what happened.
This area of Largo Drive was filled with cop lights and crime scene tape just a few hours ago. It all started when Savannah police got an alert of a shooting right near Windsor Forest High School.
My concern now as sheriff is finding this suspect and getting him off the streets of Chatham County.
Multiple agencies responding to the area of Largo Drive and Woodley Road Tuesday afternoon, including Savannah Police, Chatham County Sheriff's Office, and the Savannah-Chatham County Board of Education. According to SPD, they responded just before 3 o'clock, where two groups of people got into an altercation. According to a social media post made by Savannah Alderman Curtis Purdy, Savannah officers arrived on scene and discovered a 19-year-old man who was shot and was transported to the hospital with serious injuries.
This was an isolated incident. We are currently looking into the matter, and we won't stop until the suspect is off our streets and behind bars where they belong.
Georgia Southern University put out an alert asking for help finding two suspects who at the time were last seen at the Joseph's Landing apartment complex. However, since that alert came out, one suspect was found. Sheriff Richard Coleman says SPD is leading the investigation in this case. If you have any information, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers at 912-234-2020. Reporting in Savannah, I'm Isabella Baez, WSAV News 3. On your side.
Less than 2 hours later, Savannah Police and Chatham County Sheriff's Office worked another shooting, this one on East 71st Street. We're told a young man was shot. As investigators give us more information, we will share it with you. Alec Murdaugh's legal team has now changed its mind on where his next murder trial should be held.
Colleton County is poison. I don't think he, with a straight face, the state would argue that we should go back to Colleton County.
Dick Harpootlian making his case against keeping the trial in Colleton County. In their latest motion, the defense requested to move the case to Richland County. That would limit the number of attorneys, court staff, and witnesses who need hotel rooms because they already live there. Well, Friday, the defense spent more than an hour arguing for Charleston County to host the retrial. Prosecutors said it would cost too much money and cause logistical issues. Well, Judge McCaslin will make a final decision on a venue for the trial, which is scheduled for April 5th. The next step to improve safety near Caligny Beach on Hilton Head Island is being implemented. Crews have begun cutting back foliage in the area to give law enforcement better sight lines of potential crimes and suspects. It is something Beaufort County Sheriff P.J. Tanner asked for after the mass shooting on Caligny Beach July 4th. Hilton Head has also added armed guards to local parks and is considering adding more cameras near the beach. Well, we do have some new details tonight in connection with that mass shooting on Hilton Head, July 4th. The Beaufort County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help identifying a man seen in surveillance footage. You see it right here. This is with the shooting at Caligny Beach on Hilton Head Island. Anyone recognizing the individual or anyone with information that may help investigators identify him is asked to contact Sergeant Aaron at 843-255-3436. Residents reached max capacity and more in Statesboro tonight. City Council voting on a rezoning request that would allow a data center inside the city limits. WSAV was the only TV station in the room during the vote. Evan Smoke now with more on their decision.
Okay, I'll break the tie. Approve with staff recommendations.
In a deadlocked vote, Statesboro Mayor Jonathan McCollar broke a tie to approve the rezoning request off of Burkhalter Road.
We fought in a residential area, and I think that residential area should be maintained.
Residents overfilled the room and even packed outside City Hall when capacity was reached. After the vote, residents gathered to share their dissent.
Vote them out! Vote them out! Vote them out! Vote them out!
During the meeting Tuesday, Statesboro officials said the project has not been offered any incentives or tax abatements and would not be given them in the future. The developer was also on hand and confirmed that no specific company is being planned for this location.
I have not been approved hundreds of millions of dollars worth of facility. Bobby is not going to. This is not going to be built on spec. The fact is that most data center users and operators, they generally do not get engaged until after the property is sufficiently set.
Now the future is back in the developer's hands, as they will need to submit a special use permit application.
That'll have to go back to the Planning Commission and the City Council, but the first thing staff's going to do is tear into every drop of documentation in relation to their special use permit to ensure that it meets the guidelines established in our ordinance.
The ordinance outlawing what data centers will be allowed under a special use permit was passed earlier this year, in June. To view that ordinance, visit our website, WSAV.com. Reporting in Statesboro, Evan Smoke, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Bullock County also discussing data centers today as its Board of Commissioners was presented with a draft of an ordinance that would establish guidelines if the projects are allowed. It has several requirements for the county, including a 500 feet setback from residential or mixed-use properties, the use of a closed-loop water system, noise restrictions, and rules for generator use. Planning and Development Director James Pope says this was brought before commissioners prior to a vote on an outright data center ban.
Earlier this month, with the zoning case that would say no data centers in unincorporated Bullock, through discussion during that meeting, the commissioners kind of left the door open to, well, let's just hear what staff's come up with.
The county is still set to vote on a zoning case that would ban data centers in the unincorporated portions of Bullock County on September 1st. The county's moratorium on any data center applications is also remaining in effect through the end of the year. Our health report now. The Georgia Department of Public Health has confirmed a case of West Nile virus in Chatham County. This marks the second in Georgia this year. West Nile is a potentially serious illness that's transferred by the bite of an infected mosquito. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 80% of those with the virus won't have symptoms, but those that do can experience body aches, fever, and joint pain. Last year, there were 18 West Nile cases in Georgia, including one in the Coastal Health District. A major roadwork project continues to cause headaches for drivers and businesses in Port Royal. It covers a stretch of Paris Avenue, blocking sidewalks and disrupting traffic. City leaders say the temporary pain will be worth it when the project is finished. Port Royal town leaders say this project has been years in the making. Paris Avenue was originally built for trucks, and after years of wear and tear from heavy traffic, it is now being repaired. The construction project also includes upgrades to aging stormwater drainage. The goal is to make the street better and more accessible for families. But some local business owners say they are taking a financial hit because that construction is causing issues which began in April and keeping customers away. Town leaders say they are trying to help those owners.
I don't think we have the flexibility to offer financial assistance. What we can do is heighten our social media interactions, potentially address some additional advertising, letting folks know. We've been talking to Adams to talk about additional billboards potentially.
Town leaders say construction on this side of the road is almost done. Work will soon shift to the other side, hopefully making it easier for customers to reach these businesses. Well, WSAV is your local election headquarters, and early voting begins tomorrow for the South Carolina Republican Senate primary runoff. The two candidates, interim Senator Darlene Graham and Congressman Ralph Norman, appeared side by side last night in Greenville at the Poinsett Club. Now, they did take questions from a moderator in front of about 150 GOP voters, each making the case to represent their party in November.
Do your research, take a hard look at me. Well, there's some differences there. You know, I've lived the struggles of most South Carolinians. I'm honored to have President Trump's endorsement, and I do have a resume. I've worked hard for the people of South Carolina.
I've got the best record. She does not. She's an unknown, and I've got a track record of conservatism, and I'm proud of it. And there's nothing that she can put on the air to change a record. It's my resume.
The winner of the August 25th primary runoff will face Democrat Dr. Annie Andrews in the November election. We've learned that President Trump will hold a rally this Friday in Myrtle Beach. The president has endorsed Darlene Graham in her bid for the U.S. Senate seat. A stop had been scheduled in the upstate that same day, where the president would appear with both candidates, but that has now been postponed. In Georgia, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announcing the dates of a special primary for district attorney in the Atlantic Judicial Circuit. That primary will be held November 3rd in Bryan, Evans, Liberty, Long, McIntosh, and Tatnall counties. This comes after Governor Brian Kemp selected the former district attorney Billy Joe Nelson Jr. to fill the Judicial Circuit branch seat that was left vacant by the retirement of Chief Judge Robert L. Russell III. If needed, a runoff will be held on December 1st. Now, for details on elections in Georgia and South Carolina, go to our website, wsav.com/electionhq.